Denver Nuggets blew it up. At least that's the dominant narrative. After firing a championship-winning coach and the general manager who constructed the roster, the national media portrays a team in a frantic win-now mode, fueled by what they label cautious optimism. They see a flurry of moves and a franchise trying to right the ship after 2 straight playoff exits in the conference semifinals. But this wasn't a panic move. The firings, the trades, and the signings all point to a radical and deliberate new blueprint, a blueprint designed to maximize Nikola Jokic's prime in a way the old regime simply couldn't. We've broken down every trade, every signing, and every single strategic signal coming out of the front office, and the conclusion is undeniable. This wasn't a reaction, it was an execution. The new front office has identified their championship window, and they are making an all-in gamble on a very specific identity to forge one of the most unstoppable offenses in NBA history. Here, we will break down the 3 core pillars of this new grand strategy. We'll explore how they've systematically supercharged an already elite offense. We will deconstruct how they plan to redefine a defensive identity that has been the team's Achilles heel. And finally, we will unveil the strategic X factor they've held in reserve, ready to be unleashed on an unsuspecting league. Everyone knows the Nuggets offense, which ranked 4th in the league last season with a blistering 119.9 rating, is elite. But the moves they made this offseason, the pieces they put in place, they're designed to take it to a level that breaks opposing defenses and redefines what's possible. For deep dive analysis that goes beyond the box score, subscribe and ring the bell. We are building a community for the smartest fans in basketball right here. Let's start with the move that kicked this whole thing off, trading Michael Porter Jr. for Cameron Johnson. On the surface, this was framed as a smart financial move to get under the luxury tax and a way to swap out one sharpshooter for another. And while shedding MPJ's contract for Johnson's more manageable deal was indeed a financially savvy decision that provided flexibility, the primary motivation was a profound offensive upgrade. Johnson is more than just a spot-up shooter. Last season with the Nets, he revealed an ability to do more with the basketball, upping his assists and showing he can create his own shot. He provides a more reliable and versatile scoring threat who doesn't demand the same on-ball usage as Porter, and that is the critical distinction. This creates even more space for the heart of their offense, the devastating 2-man game between Nikola Jokić and Jamal Murray. Johnson is a career 39.2% three-point shooter who hit 39% on over 7 attempts per game last season. He is the perfect complementary piece for Jokić. The front office, however, didn't stop there. They looked at their last 2 playoff exits and saw a glaring weakness. The offense would fall off a cliff the second Jokić went to the bench. For years, it's been the same story. Dominate when the MVP is on the floor and hemorrhage points when he rests. So what did they do? They systematically re-engineered the bench. They added veteran sharpshooter Tim Hardaway Jr., who was coming off a resurgent season where he averaged 11 points and shot nearly 37% from deep. And they repatriated the ultimate Swiss Army knife, the bulldog himself, Bruce Brown Jr. Both are proven shot creators who ensure the offense never has to stall. They completely transformed the team's depth, turning a major weakness into a potential strength. And this is where the strategy deepens. They added a new dimension to the front court that this team has never had in the Jokić era. By acquiring Jonas Valančiūnas, they now have a legitimate bruising, low-post scoring threat to either pair with Jokić in certain matchups, or more importantly, to anchor the second unit. He is arguably the most effective backup center Jokić has ever had. Valančiūnas provides a powerful counter to the small ball lineups that have given Denver fits and ensures the team can dominate the paint for all 48 minutes. The goal is to keep Jokic's regular season minutes down, preserving him for the playoffs. The pattern is deliberate and clear. Every single addition is designed to maximize the Jokić constant. Johnson's elite off-ball movement, Hardaway Jr.'s catch-and-shoot prowess, and Valančiūnas' interior presence are all calibrated to make doubling or even shading coverage towards the 3-time MVP a fatal mistake for any defense. The strategy is no longer just to have a top-5 offense. The numbers from last season prove they already had that. The goal is to build a historically great offense, an offense so potent, so multifaceted, that it fundamentally breaks defensive schemes and creates a massive margin for error. This raises the pivotal question. How does a team solve a mediocre 22nd ranked defense after trading away its established perimeter defenders? The answer is not what you'd expect. This brings us to the core of the new front office's philosophy, the great offensive gamble. The prevailing anxiety among the fan base centers on the defense, a concern amplified across social media and podcasts. The departure of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Michael Porter Jr. removes 2 of the team's primary perimeter defenders and leaves a massive hole on the wing. While the local buzz is dominated by fear of a defensive collapse, the front office's response isn't to find like-for-like replacements. Instead, they are committing to a fundamental shift in their defensive identity, from one built on individual stoppers to one forged in collective toughness and schematic intelligence. And the personification of that shift is the single most important defensive move they made this offseason, signing Bruce Brown Jr. His return is a direct injection of the tenacity, the versatility, and the championship culture that was missing. He isn't just another player. He represents the new standard. He functions as the defensive barometer for this team, the on-court leader who will hold everyone accountable with his relentless energy. He is the culture setter, the bulldog who brings back the defensive identity that helped win a championship. But one man, however tenacious, cannot single-handedly fix a defense. This brings us to the biggest question mark: the new coaching philosophy under head coach David Adelman. Adelman, who took over as interim late last season, impressed everyone with his calm demeanor and ability to connect with players. He led the team to a gritty 7-game series against the Thunder, a series in which they significantly overperformed expectations. Now he has a full offseason to install his system. The hiring of assistants like Jared Dudley and J.J. Barea, both lauded for their high basketball IQ as players, signals a major philosophical shift. The strategy points toward a smarter, more communicative, and rotation-heavy defensive system rather than relying on individual lockdown defenders. This brings us to the front court puzzle. Many analysts and fans are questioning the defensive fit of a Nikola Jokić and Jonas Valančiūnas pairing, citing a potential lack of foot speed. But the front office sees this differently. They view it as an offensive advantage that forces opponents to adapt to them or not. The defensive plan will likely involve more creative schemes like the zone concepts Adelman successfully used in the playoffs, and will task Brown and other athletic wings with making aggressive, early help-side rotations to mitigate any potential issues. The strategy is to lean on effort and basketball wisdom to overcome physical limitations. Make no mistake, this is a high-stakes gamble. The front office is betting that the combination of Bruce Brown's infectious energy, a more cohesive and intelligent team scheme under Adelman, and the sheer offensive pressure they can now apply will be enough to transform a 22nd ranked defense into a unit that can perform, at a minimum, in the top half of the league. It's a calculated risk that trades away known individual defensive talent for a system built on collective buy-in and unrelenting toughness. This defensive strategy relies on grit and smarts, but the Nuggets are holding one more card up their sleeve, an athletic X-factor who spent all of last season in the shadows waiting for his moment and is now poised to completely change the team's entire dynamic. This brings us to the secret weapon. While the national conversation has been focused on the big-name trades and veteran signings, the internal buzz within the organization is centered on a player most fans outside the region have yet to see play an NBA minute. I'm talking about DaRon Holmes II. After tragically tearing his Achilles in his first Summer League game last year, Holmes missed his entire rookie season. But his healthy return is the equivalent of acquiring a lottery pick in a year where the Nuggets possessed no draft selections. And he isn't just any player. He is the exact player profile this team has been desperately missing. For years, the most significant recurring weakness of the Nikola Jokić era has been a glaring lack of explosive front court athleticism. Holmes' expected debut directly addresses this deficit.